for about 38 years, I thought the best thing for me to do was to get away from Christianity in all forms and explore what the world was really about. And I read a great deal about ancient religions, the Egyptian religion, the religion of ancient Sumer, the Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and so forth. And I don't know exactly why. I don't know how to explain in a few words how I came back to Christianity. Something about Christianity I just could not explain. I could not understand what had happened there. I approached it like a historian. You know, I was reading the history of the Jews in ancient times. I read the history of the Jews since Christ. I thought, what, these people, according to everything I've read, should not be here. They should not have survived. Why did they survive? I don't understand this. And I began to get a feeling that this meant something immense, this journey of the Jews from ancient times to the present. What it meant, I wasn't sure. Then I started to look at Christianity. Well, how the hell did this start, basically? And I began to study the first century. How did this obscure cult come out of the East, and how did it become the only cult that was ever satisfactorily imparted to the West? You know, how did that happen? I mean, you know, the Romans were ferociously against everything coming out of the East. They were suspicious of the worshippers of Cybele. They regarded cults from Egypt as evil. You know, they didn't like that stuff entering rational Roman life. They didn't like it at all. They had a great resistance to what they considered the superstition of the East. Yet here comes this cult started by this Nazarene who's crucified, and within 110 years, it's an international religion. And within about 200 more years, paganism is brought down all over the ancient world. Now, how in the hell could that happen, I asked myself, and I never found a satisfactory answer. And the more I studied the life of Christ, and the more I studied the teachings of Christ, the more I felt an immense mystical opening to this religion. By mystical, I mean can't describe it rationally. But I felt an opening to this. I began to be deeply obsessed with the incarnation, the story of this monotheistic God becoming man in the form of Jesus, being crucified, dying, rising from the dead, going back to heaven with his body, and then this monotheism exploding into the ancient world and bringing down polytheism. And I still don't have all the answers at all. Nobody will ever have the answers as to why this happened. But to me, there's no religion quite like it. You know, there's not in the West. Let's put it that way. I don't know enough about the Far East to make that statement. But there's nothing quite like it in our history. And our history was virtually transformed by this religion, for good and for bad, and in ways that we can't even see because they're so much a part of us. And I felt that there was something there, that there was something really profound there, that there was something that transcended all the different analyses I could apply to the situation, something that's just unexplained. And for me, this tipped into belief. Now, for someone else, it might not, you know, but it tipped into belief for me. But this could be because I believed it as a child, because I was brought up in the Catholic faith, which is a very sensuous, romantic, and rich tradition to be brought up in, you know, so that as an educated person or a person striving to be educated, I could go back and connect with that faith and its complexity and its body of knowledge. I don't know, you know, really why it happened. I mean, I just know that I went home to my Catholic faith in 1998, and I went home to my belief in Christianity. Do I feel good about this all the time? No. Do I think that Christianity has a dark and terrible side? Yes, I do. And a highly destructive side? Yes, I do. And do I think how people interpret the message of Christ and Christianity all the time, is it difficult? It's so difficult and so fraught with tension and so fraught with difficulty, I'm repeating myself, it's with contradictions. It's so fraught with contradictions that Christianity comes off to me as a magnificent religion and a dangerous religion, a really dangerous religion for a lot of reasons. And that danger is rooted in Judaism. It's the idea that you are worshiping the only God in the correct way. I mean, that's an idea that originates with the Jews, really, and was pretty alien in the ancient world and in the Roman world. But it's certainly an idea that we completely incorporated into our religion when we started as Christians. And therein lies this double-edged sword, that this religion can bring you great peace and this religion can be mobilized to slaughter millions. You know, I don't know, but for me, if there is a true religion on this earth, it's Christianity. But again, I'm a humanist, and I love that story of Christ becoming a human being, you know, and taking his humanity back to God, of his embracing us, of his coming down to talk to us, of his putting a human face on the invisible God whose name you're not even supposed to say.